The Vikings have already surprised so many people to be sitting in the position that they are right now. They're comfortably the 5 seed in the NFC, and record-wise are one of the best wildcard teams in NFL history, sitting at 14-3. This year alone, the Vikings have had 2 separate 7-game winning streaks. They won close games, they win defensive battles, they win offensive shootouts. They've won in just about every single scenario this year. But why are people so hesitant to call this team a Super Bowl contender? And do they really have that type of potential to make a run at the Super Bowl? Let's first unpack what happened in Week 18 real quick. Of course, the Vikings suffered a very rough loss to the Lions where it looked like they were in the game in the beginning, but towards the end, everything fell apart for them. The offensive line probably played their worst game of the season against a Lions pass rush that was far worse than a lot of pass rushes that the Vikings have faced this year. They got into the red zone on 3 or 4 separate occasions and had to settle for field goals or had to go for it on 4th down and turned it over. And it was rough in the red zone for the Vikings, which is an issue we didn't really see throughout the whole year. And I expected on this banged up Lions defense for them to be able to score touchdowns in those situations. But at this point, after the conclusion of the regular season, there have been a few factors that really helped this Vikings team get to where they are right now. And those same factors are going to be huge for them in the playoffs. The first 2, of course, are Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold went from an afterthought in New York to a starting quarterback on one of the best teams in the NFL. And a lot of this has to do with Kevin O'Connell's brilliance being able to put this team together. The other part of this is the defense. When their blitzes are able to work and their defense successfully confuses opposing quarterbacks, this defense is really scary and one of the hardest to go against for opposing offenses. As for the rest of the offense, Aaron Jones has been incredible this year as a veteran leader and much better than I thought he was going to be at the running back position. Justin Jefferson's still Justin Jefferson. Despite what we saw against the Lions, I think Jefferson's going to bounce back from that game. But we know why this team has had so much success. The defense, a philosophy like no other in the NFL, Sam Darnold being so much better than we expected, and this offense complementing the defense along with a great head coach. It really meshed together perfectly this year. But why are people not picking the Vikings to go deep into the playoffs? As we mentioned earlier, Week 18 was rough for them. They made it to the red zone multiple occasions and were not able to convert for touchdowns like they usually do. Sam Darnold had his worst game of the season with 0 touchdowns and under 200 yards. Darnold showed the ability to be able to scramble out of the pocket, but receivers weren't getting much separation. When he had clean pockets, I thought that the accuracy was not there. He was missing high and overthrowing a lot of targets, including Justin Jefferson on several occasions. At the end of the day, Darnold has had an incredible year, but the question still remains if this team is dominant enough on offense and are able to just go down and get a score whenever they need to. And I think in the playoffs, against a team like the Rams, who they're facing in the first round, they might have to do that because of the amount of weapons the Rams have on offense. The Vikings are going to have to match that. 2 of the 3 losses for the Vikings this year came against the Lions, but the other one earlier in the season came against the LA Rams. The Rams offense is undeniably very, very good, and we're going to have to see if this Vikings defense is able to throw stuff at them that confuses Matthew Stafford, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I have the Vikings on the road beating the Rams, and I just think that the Vikings are a more complete football team. As long as they can hold the Rams to like 24 to 28 points, the Vikings offense is going to be able to put those points up on the board. Rams defense is not especially good. The Vikings have exposed a few good defenses this year. I think against a relatively average defense in the Rams, they're going to be able to do this again, which is why I think the Vikings are going to be able to pull through and get this win. I think the deciding factor against the Rams is going to be Sam Darnold, and looking past one bad week last week, a full season sample size shows that in close games, Darnold can play good enough to get a win, and I think that's the difference in this one. But that's it for this video. Essentially, I was just making the case for the Vikings in this playoff run. It's going to be rough against dominant offenses, but if they're able to contain them, I believe in this Vikings offense to be opportunistic, make the right plays. Against good defenses, it's going to be interesting to see how Darnold performs. That's the deciding factor at the end of the day. But I'm going to be making videos like this throughout the week, making the case for other teams that might be viewed as underdogs, like the Buccaneers or the Commanders, as to what their potential path to the Lombardi Trophy could look like. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did enjoy, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers right now, so please help me out. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think. That's going to do it for this video. More content coming this week. I'll see you all in the next one.